Hello and welcome to a new season of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for all things Akron Zips athletics. I'm your host, Megan Williams.
And I'm Zach Leininger.
And in today's episode, we're going to start our coverage of all the fall sports. So don't go anywhere, because the ZTV Sports Report starts now. Welcome back. It is officially Friday Night Lights season, so let's talk about the Zips football team. To start off the season, we took it over to Columbus to play the Ohio State Buckeyes. Our team did not really perform all that well this game, and we only got 6 points, so clearly we lost that one. Next up on the schedule, we were up against Rutgers. We scored 17 points this game, so more than last game, but we still ended up losing. Next up was our home opener against Colgate. So let's take it over to Taz and see what he thought of that game.
Hello, sports fans. Taz here with your ZTV Sports Report. Today we're breaking down the full, exciting matchup between Akron and Colgate University at Infocision Stadium, where Akron triumphed 31-20. Colgate came out strong in the first quarter, building a 17-0 lead. Michael Garcia threw a 33-yard touchdown to Trayvon Sanders and rushed for another score, with Luke Vogelaire adding a 51-yard field goal. However, Akron stormed back, beginning their 31-3 run late in the first quarter. Akron's quarterback, Ben Finley, ignited the comeback by throwing 4 touchdowns. His 7-yard pass to Clyde Kellen cut the deficit to 17-7. In the second quarter, Finley added 2 more touchdown passes, one to Jalen Newell for 2 yards and a 56-yard bomb to Bubba Golden, giving Akron their first lead at 21-17. Akron capped off the first half with an 18-yard touchdown to Adrian Norton, making it 28-17. Colgate attempted to regroup in the third quarter, kicking a 45-yard field goal, trimming Akron's lead to 28-20. Despite this, Akron's defense stiffened, and a crucial 32-yard field goal by Gavin Smith in the fourth quarter extended Akron's lead to 31-20. Finley finished the game with 358 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Adrian Norton impressed with 125 receiving yards. Colgate's standout was Garcia, who notched 60 yards rushing and 2 total touchdowns. But Akron's offensive and defensive adjustments were too much to overcome. Thanks for joining us for this detailed breakdown of the game. Until next time, this is Taz signing off for ZTV Sports Report.
Thank you, Taz. So, Zach, our guys did not start off this home opener well. We only scored 7 points in the first quarter, compared to Colgate's 17, that was just barely anything. So what are you thinking so far of this team?
Yeah, so judging how this game went in the first quarter, 17-7 at the end, and then considering, back to Ohio State and the Rutgers, it seems like the offense and the team in general has just been just off to a slow start. The defense has been playing pretty well, keeping the opposing teams off the field, putting the offense in good positions to score, to excel. But, the offense hasn't taken advantage of those opportunities. So I think the second quarter was a good representation of, things clicking for the team. Because Ben Finley's been, he's been a good addition to the team. You can tell that he brings that expertise, and that knowledge from playing at a big school like Cal, coming over to the MAC and playing some mid-major teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he definitely seems to be comfortable. It seems like this game, was a good opportunity to do that because, playing big Power 5 schools is never easy. Just big, strong, fast players. It's hard to keep up with. It's a hard game really to judge the teams off of.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like when we get to Colgate, a team more of, I guess, our speed, more of our caliber.
Yeah.
I think it was a good representation of that. Ben Finley went for 358 and 4 touchdowns in this game. Jordan Simmons, transfer from Michigan State, tacked on 49 from the ground. He's looked pretty good. Adrian Norton, Bobby Golden, Jake Knoll, some solid receiving options. Really have jump-started what I hope is an explosive offense moving forward. Because as I mentioned, the defense has been doing their job. Like early on in that Ohio State game, it was only 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. It was 17-3 at halftime. So against the big schools like that, they only give up 49 to the Rutgers, and they slowed them down throughout the game. So really, things seem to be coming together here for the team. At least I hope. I know we go play some bigger competition moving forward. South Carolina's coming up after this, but then we'll be back, into the MAC. So I think we've gotten some good experience so far, playing some good teams. We're playing some good football. And, I'm excited to see where the team goes moving forward.
Yeah, I definitely think this Colgate game is stepping in the right direction for us. Obviously, the South Carolina game is not what we want to see after a win because we're probably going to really struggle in this game. But after that, I think we should be able to pick it back up if we do end up losing to South Carolina. So now we are going to talk about the men's soccer team. So this men's soccer team is not at all similar to the ones we normally see. Our record right now is 1-3-3. Only one win. That just is very unusual for the Zips team. I am not really sure what is happening currently, if I'm honest. This game specifically, we had 27 shots on goal, and we didn't make one. How does that work? Whose idea was that? Mitch Butler gave up PK at the end of the game to give them their 1 point. So that's obviously never a fun way to lose. I honestly just think PKs are unfair to begin with, but we probably shouldn't start that combo. Temple just was... it's not even that they should have won that game. They only had 4 shots. So I was just like, guys, what are we doing? Like that did not look like us at all. I was really confused. So what are you thinking of this team so far?
This was definitely not a game that we should have lost.
No.
Not a game we were expecting to lose, truthfully. And just looking at the team overall, it's a little bit of an odd season. Sitting at 1-3-3 on the season is really atypical for this team.
Yeah.
Because generally we haven't lost by this point. Usually, we tend to get off to hot starts. We tend to be one of the best teams in the country. And looking at it now, it's just not the same team we're used to seeing. As you mentioned, 27 shots. 27 shots, you would expect that we scored a few goals.
Exactly.
And then you notice that we scored 0. And then
it's ridiculous.
Temple only takes 4, but it just happens to be that one PK ends up sliding by. But it's just like just looking at it. Temple was very efficient with their shots.
Yeah.
And that's the flaw for our men's team right now. It's just we have a lot of shots, but it's just taking advantage of the positioning, being efficient with those shots. Instead of sailing them over the goal, actually getting them in a position. Because 27 shots, only 9 of those were on goal. So just a lot of wild shots going everywhere.
For sure.
And then Mitch just trying to do what he can back there. He's had a lot of shots come his way this year. I know a lot of that's been due to just some heavy hitters that we lost. Johnny Fitzgerald, Shukaluk. I'm trying to remember any other guys at the moment. Joel Sangwa, for defensive purposes. I know that it's just it's been an adjustment period for this team.
Yeah.
Losing those, as I mentioned, losing those heavy hitters. bringing in a ton of freshmen.
Yeah.
It's just been a matter of getting the right players in the right spots, developing the best lineup possible. That targets all of the strengths of this team. Embic's just been struggling to find it right now, and I think that's why we've looked as bad as we've looked so far. As I mentioned, three losses, 3 ties, only a win so far. It's really just trying to, like I said, just trying to put those things together, put themselves in the best position possible. Just not where they want to be right now.
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point. We did lose a lot of good personnel, but I mean, at a certain point, we can't blame it on that anymore, Like, we can't just always be like, oh, we lost people, because, like, that happens every season to every team. Our team is just so young right now, as you mentioned, so I think we just need to start figuring out how to play with each other more, especially with the newbies, because as Coach said when we interviewed him, we every time someone comes off the bench, it's like their first time playing a college game, and that's obviously going to be really hard. So I think they just need a few more games under their belt to play with each other and to see some shots go back in the back of the goal, and hopefully we'll be able to figure it out. We are now going to go into our first commercial break, but after that, we are going to talk volleyball, so stay tuned. Welcome back. It is now time to talk volleyball, and we recently got to sit down with head coach Tyson Norton. So let's see how that interview went. Hello, ZTV sports fans. It is Megan, and I am interviewing Coach Tyson Norton today, head coach of the volleyball team. How are you doing today, Coach?
Doing well. Third day of school, and so we're kind of getting in a new flow with things with our practice schedule, but doing well, looking forward to it.
Yeah, so how is the team looking to adjust after losing Faith Johnson to graduation last season?
Yeah, Faith was a big part of our squad last year. She got a lot of sets, and I think one reason that contributed to that was her health and her consistency of staying out there as long as can. And so now we have 4 pins kind of competing for 2 spots on the outside, and so we're looking to fill the amount of sets Faith got right as our leading point scorer with 2 or 3 other players that are able and happy and willing to get those sets and get those kills for us.
Yeah, that's great. Tell me a little bit about the new faces on the ZIP squad.
So we brought in 7 new players.
Oh, okay.
We had 1 player join us in the spring and 6 join us in this fall. And so they're a great group. They're working hard, full of hustle. They're really working on our connections and our relationships, which started over the summer. And having those bonds really contribute not just on the court, but off the court, that allows the trust and the competitive continue to grow throughout the season.
Yeah, so along the lines of the team, talk about the senior leadership for this team this season.
So seniors, we have 7 seniors.
Oh my goodness.
And so we're gonna lose a lot after this fall, but the growth I've seen from the group when we came in 22 to where they are now, working with them for 3 years, it's just the growth and development across the board. And so they've been through the battles, they've been through the grind, they know what the MAC stands for, they know what we expect of the staff, and so how do they continue to hold those standards and raise them to help us get us where we want to be. And so we have 3 middle seniors and 4 pins who are all seniors. And so having that experience on the court definitely helps us with the experience piece, but we have some underclassmen who are going to push them and support them and encourage them kind of across the board. But having seniors who, again, been through the battle is the biggest part, and having that experience in the gym just raises the level.
So Eliska Vidiskova last season was absolutely amazing. As a freshman, got 1,000 career assists, or over that, I think.
Yep.
What are you hoping to see from her this season?
So Eliska was awesome as a freshman. She came in, she understood our tempo, she understood our offense, and just had that ability to run the show with confidence. So this summer she played for her national team back home with the U22
so cool.
U22 European Championship team in Czechia. And so that experience just helps develop more confidence, and playing against the elite players in Europe is awesome. And so looking forward to this fall of continuing that growth and experience, and how to expand our offense a little bit more in different situations that provide our hitters the best opportunities to score points.
Yeah. So it's your third season now as a coach in the MAC. What makes this conference so difficult to win in? What do you say?
The MAC's a great conference, top to bottom. It's a dogfight every time you step out there. It doesn't matter if you're playing Western, Ball State, Kent State, Miami. You got to put your best foot forward day in and day out. And since we're playing back-to-back nights, you have a chance to kind of redeem yourself if you didn't go your way, or you got to prove it again on night 2. And so that one thing that I love about the MAC, that you got the same opponent in the same week, and so you just, again, compete the best of your ability. But it's so level kind of across the board of, man, the talent is tough. We've got great defenders in the league, people who can score points at the elite level. But a lot of it comes down to serve and pass, and I think we're a really aggressive serving team, and our ball control is benefiting from that, and looking forward to bringing that to the MAC when we get to that conference play.
What are some goals you have for the team this season? What do you say?
Kind of the biggest goals for us is, hey, how do we get better each day? You know, not just with volleyball, but with our connections and our relationships, and how do we get better in the classroom academically? And so, again, it's like, hey, we're gonna get better and better each and every day. And how do we do that? And that focus and that mentality. Are we being mindful? Are we being intentional about our actions and our behaviors? And so, if we're doing that day in, day out, we're gonna get that 1% better and help us get us where we want to be.
So you guys are starting off the season at in Puerto Rico. What made you guys decide to go there this year?
Yeah, it's a Puerto Rico Classico, so we got opened up with Evansville and Liberty, so playing Friday and Saturday night. And it's just another great opportunity for us to go compete against another team. And being in Puerto Rico, and some of the teams have Puerto Ricans on their team, so the fans are gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a ruckus crowd. Kind of the opportunity presented itself from administration, and we said, oh, we're on board, you know. And the team got super excited when we let them know that we're heading out to Puerto Rico. And again, I keep reminding them, hey, it's a business trip. Let's go take care of business. And then Sunday, we have some tours lined up and everything. But for Friday, Saturday night, we're locked in and ready to go.
So this has been an interview with Coach Tyson Norton, the head volleyball coach. Thank you for watching. And as always, go Zips. Thank you, Coach Norton, for sitting down with us for that interview. So, Zach, this volleyball team is not really having the season we would like. Our overall record currently is 4-7, so we would like to see some more wins. We started off the season with a win versus Evansville. That was an away tournament. Then we lost the next 2 games in that tournament. And then we beat Mercyhurst 3-0, which is nice to see. And then we beat St. Francis as well. And then ever since then, we just have lost a few, which is not what I like to see. But, you know, looking at these stats, 86 service errors and 49 errors on receiving is just not at all what I want to see from this team. Of course, yes, it does show that the opponent also has a lot of errors, but just because the other team is having errors doesn't mean, oh, that's okay, we can have errors. That's not what I like to see at all. 86 service errors is just ridiculous. But yes, this team had a huge personnel change with Faith Johnson leaving. She was just an absolute cannon for us on that left side. We now are splitting it between a couple girls, so I think we just need to figure out who is going to be the best option for that, and then we might have a few more wins. So Zach, what do you have to say about this team overall?
Yeah, I mean, what you said about Faith was really my initial thought on this team. Just Faith and Faith being a part of the team, for the 4 years she was here, she really became a deadly threat in the MAC. Teams going up against her knew that she was a big threat, knew that they had to account for her. Mm-hmm. So really, it took a lot of attention away from the other girls, and it took the stress off the other girls. Because you know that a lot of it was being sent Faith's way. The teams were preparing for that. So now it's like, once she's gone, that responsibility is spread to more than just her. And I know that when we were talking with Tyson, he was just mentioning, adjustments with, some of the other outside hitters just rearranging some of their adjustments, some of their rotations, so that we can get those other girls in different spots, just getting them comfortable playing from all sides of the floor.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's just an adjustment period for this team. But I think there are some positives in it. I know they're sitting at 3-7, 4-7 on the year. But I think a bright spot for this team is just the fact that we're healthy right now.
Yeah.
Like bringing Kostudolu back. She played really well to start the season, but then got hurt, and we didn't see much from her after that. Melissa Torre was phenomenal last year, but then she was hurt as well.
Yeah.
So bringing her back, as I mentioned, Kostudolu, bringing back Del Real, just Carliana Jones, Lauren Baker, the list goes on. Really have kept a solid squad together.
Yeah.
It's just, changing up the formation, the team a little bit, changing up their play style is, I think, what's caused this issue so far. It's why they haven't looked as good as they should. So I expect that to turn around, large part and due to at least Kviteskova. On the season already with 246 assists.
Yeah, she is amazing.
My goodness, this girl she's insane. She really plays her role well in this team.
Yeah.
Just getting the ball to where it needs to go. Being in the right spot at the right time. She always seems to do that. And I think just moving forward, as we get closer to conference play, I expect this team to turn around. We've been seeing an upward trajectory with this team. How when Tyson came in a couple years back, that team only won, 5 or 6 games. Then we won, 16, whatever it was last year. Not that we're on a great pace right now, but I guess, from what we've seen, the past leads us to believe that we're going to continue to excel. We're going to get past this rough patch and hopefully have some postseason play this year for the first time in Tyson's career. So I'm excited to see how that plays out, but I do believe in this team.
Yeah, I do too. I love volleyball. It's one of my favorite sports for sure. As you mentioned, Eliska is just an absolute legend, let's be honest. She has, as you said, 246 assists, and last season she ended as a freshman with over 1,000. So she is well on pace to be in the top 10 in the NCAA for assists after she graduates, which is amazing. I think our team just needs to figure out how to play with each other a little bit better, and then we'll have a little bit of a better time winning. Once we get in conference as well, I think we'll kind of find ourselves more at home, because I don't think we've ever played any of these teams before, especially Michigan. That was going to be a hard one. Yeah. I'm not shocked we lost that one. Or Cincinnati. That Cincinnati game was really hard to watch as a Zips fan.
I think it's kind of as I was mentioning with with the football team earlier. It's just that playing some of these bigger, higher level schools, especially with a team in an adjustment period like our team is right now. I think it's good that they're struggling right now, but playing some better teams at the same time, because I think that's only going to make them better. It just points out the flaws in the team, makes things more obvious, helps them to adjust, and also, like I said, when you get to some not so skilled schools, not that the MAC isn't skilled, but just teams that are of a lesser caliber, aren't as big of a powerhouse. I think that it'll turn around. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, our ladies start off conference play playing Ohio, and I think that should be a pretty even match. We are now going to take it into our second commercial break, but after that, we are going to be talking about the dominant women's soccer team. So stay tuned. Welcome back. And yes, you heard that right, folks. The women's soccer team is having a great season. Before this Cleveland State game, we were 3-0-2. So we haven't lost yet, which is amazing to see from this women's team. I remember last season, we were really just hoping they would win anything. Not going to lie. Right. Jen Simonetti really put in some deep thought over the summer, and really just came out with a vengeance this season. And it's really showing. Our ladies are doing amazing. This Cleveland State game was no different. Emma King was able to score thanks to an assist by Heskett. and we won 1-0, so that's always nice to see. So Zach, what do you have to say about this team so far?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even. Where do I even begin with this team? Is what I've been trying to think of. 5-0-2 is far from where we expected the season to play out. I know from Simon Eddy's first year, I think she won 3 games, 2 last season. In either case, 5 overall in their first 2 seasons combined, and already at 5 wins on the year, matching the total in her entire career here so far in the first 2 games of the season. I think is incredible. Looking at the team, this is very very similar to where the men's team would be right now, which is weird to say. But 5-0-2 on the year, men's team is 1-3-3. Typically, that's been flip flopped. But as you mentioned, a lot of the credit goes to Jen Simon Eddy. Really doing a good job of scouting, recruiting, and then just putting the right girls on the field that put the team in the best position to win. And then along with that, has done a good job of recognizing the proper substitutions to make, who to pull in, who to pull out, when need be. They've done a phenomenal job on the offensive side, which when we talked before was one of the biggest things I wanted to see. One of the biggest improvements I wanted to see from this team. Because in the few years that Simon Eddy's been here, they've been a good defensive team. That's always been a staple of this, the identity of this team. And it's really just been, waiting for those girls to take the next step. And I think a lot of that goes to Ella Hadley, Emma King, Anna Simmons, girls like that who have really taken it upon themselves to be more aggressive on the offensive side. Take the ball away, get it up the field, get it in the right position. Because as I mentioned, they haven't really had to worry about defense. So it's really just that they could fix that one side of the ball. And we've seen far less hits off the crossbar this year than before. Way more putting it on the box, forcing the defense into bad situations, really frustrating the goalies early. And it's just been a complete 180 to what we've seen before. But I'm super proud of this team and looking forward to the dominance they continue to pursue going forward.
Yeah. So you have heard our thoughts on this team. Let's take it over to Mary and see what she thought about this Cleveland State game.
This is Mary with the ZTV Sports Report, and today I will be talking about the women's soccer team. I will be covering their most recent game today, so let's see how they're doing. In their most recent match, the Zips were at home taking on Cleveland State. This game was a stalemate in the first half. However, the Zips got it going in the second. The only goal of the game was scored by the Zips in the second half, so the final score was 1-0. Looking at the first half of this match, there were 8 shots taken by CSU and 2 shots taken by the Zips. The Zips took 1 corner kick while the CSU took 2. There were a lot of fouls, with 9 being called off the first half. After halftime, the Zips scored the only goal of the game 2 minutes into the second half. This goal was made by Emma King, assisted by Anna Simmons and Olivia Hessett. With this win, the ladies have a record of 4 wins, 0 losses, and 2 ties. The Zips hope to continue this success the rest of the season. This was Mary with your ZTV Sports Report. Go Zips!
Welcome back. So that'll be it for the show today. As always, follow us on Instagram and X at ZTV Sports and on YouTube at ZTV Sports Report. As always, I'm Megan Williams.
And I'm Zach Leininger.
Thank you for watching, and go Zips!
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.